All right, this is me reading When Ice Ruled the World. Some 2,000 years ago, a Roman emperor named Nero sent a group of men on a mission to find a treasure prize throughout the world. This mission would take the men through treacherous mountains, pitting them against avalanches, thieves, and wild animals. What did the men risk their lives for? It wasn't gold or silver or jewels. It was ice. Saws, and sleds. Today, ice is so common you hardly notice it clinking in your glass of lemonade. Thanks to the freezer in your kitchen, you can make as much ice as you want and keep your ice cream frozen even in the most sweltering of summers. But if you traveled back in time a few centuries and asked for ice in your drink, most people would have laughed. Prior to the 19th century, if you wanted ice, you likely would have done it with what Nero did. Find it in nature and lug it home. Nero would order groups of men, often enslaved persons, to gather ice from blistery mountains and frozen rivers and lakes. The men used saws and sharp metal tools to hack off giant chunks. Next, the chunks were painstakingly loaded into sleds or wagons and hauled away by horses. The ice was then stored in large pits dug into the ground, where it would remain frozen for months. Over the centuries, ice harvesting, as it was called, became more common. By the 1700s, many wealthy Americans had ice houses on their properties. These small, insulated buildings could keep ice harvested in winter, frozen long after the snows melted. During warm weather, this ice was used to keep food fresh. More deliciously, it could also be used to make ice cream. But ice remained a luxury only the rich could afford. Still, even the richest Americans couldn't have ice unless they lived near an ice-topped mountain or in a place where temperature dropped below freezing. A millionaire in Florida might have been able to buy a pile of diamonds, but no amount of money could have procured an icy drink in steamy weather. There was simply no way to make ice in many parts of the country, or to transport ice from someplace cooler without it melting. A Boston man named Frederick Tudor changed that. Big breakthrough. In 1905, Tudor figured out how to ship ice from chilly New England to sweltering regions of the U.S. and beyond. His big breakthrough was a new tool developed by one of his employees, a special plow with sharp blades. A horse would drag the plow across a frozen pond or river, etching lines into the ice. The lines formed a checkerboard pattern that workers used as a guide for where to saw. The men then used metal bars to pry out giant, uniform ice blocks. Because the blocks were all the same size and shape, they could be packed together tightly on wagons, which kept them cold. Tudor also figured out that surrounding the ice with a thick coating of sawdust insulated the blocks, slowing down the melting process. Incredibly, the ice could survive journeys that lasted months. The Ice King. By the 1830s, Tudor ships were delivering ice to southern states and the Caribbean, and even as far away as India, an ocean journey of 14,000 miles. Tudor made millions and became known as the Ice King. Tudor's ice changed America and the world. Many more people could keep their food fresh in summer, which meant fewer people died of food poisoning. Hospitals could use ice to cool patients with high fevers, reduce swelling, and preserve medication, saving many lives. And ice cream became one of America's most popular treats. By the 1940s, most Americans had electric refrigerators and freezers and no longer needed to buy ice. They could simply make it at home. And just like that, the idea that ice was a luxury melted into history.